Hello and welcome back. I do want to apologize for the previous stream. I honestly don't know what happened. It was a huge technical thing. So I will be looking into that. But for now, this is the new stream. Hopefully, some of you guys will see that and make it over. I do apologize. No idea what happened. While we're testing these things out, we're expecting a hiccup or two. So hopefully, not going to be an issue going forward. I also looks like we have a few of you back. Luciano, what's up, man? Thanks for being the first one in here. Meanwhile, say hi to Taylor. I will. I will definitely say hi to Taylor for you. I'm glad. Yeah, I love his narration too. It's a okay, good. I'm back. Good. Looks like you guys can see me. Yeah, Luciano, I love his narration as well. He's got a perfect radio voice and quite a handsome face. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of Taylor around the channel as well. Benjamin Dover. All right, we got some people coming back. Yes, there was a glitch in the Matrix. Thank you for coming back. Grand Admiral, thank you. It happens when they change something. Well, something happened. That's all I know. But I'm glad you guys are back. Hopefully, we can get most of you that were in here back in the chat. And now we can continue with what we're all here for, which is to talk about movies and hopefully not deal with any more technical mumbo jumbo. Okay. That's my main goal anyway. So we were just talking about the Beetlejuice trailer. As a matter of fact, it was right towards the end when the stream ended, which was a little bit scary. But let's also talk about some of the more interesting materials that have dropped. We got the trailer accompanied by character posters and accompanied by a new promo poster. And those I really do enjoy. So I'm going to pull up the poster, show it to you guys, and then we'll talk more about how I felt about the trailer. Because you know what? Actually, let's play the trailer again and just on mute. And this is what cursed us last time, so hopefully not going to be the case here. Yeah, third time's the charm. Thank you, Rick Jones. Hopefully, my man, this is the one that sticks. Hip hop legend, we're back. Thank you. This is two streams in a row. I appreciate you being here, brother. Means a lot. So back to what I was saying. The trailer for Beetlejuice, it looks good. The second time watching it, I caught a few more things I didn't catch before, a few more kind of Easter eggs, but also it looks like they are going to be doing something hopefully a little newer. And just in terms of story, you know, not another, it doesn't look like another setup like the plot of the last movie with them trying to haunt somebody out of the house. And I consider that to be a good thing because we got that and it was perfect. I like Jenna Ortega. I did watch the entire Wednesday series when it came out, and I thought it was okay. In fact, I saw a comment on the previous stream. I would pull it up, but we had a comment from our own Chris Bumbray who asked what Burton's last great movie was, and I think it just depends on what you want from a Burton movie. This looks like my kind of Burton movie. It's a little silly. It's spooky and gothic, but it's not it's not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory levels of insane. It's not Dumbo, which was probably one of the more forgettable Disney remakes. Unfortunately, I think they're all pretty bad, but that one was just forgettable in general. All right, thank you people for coming back. Thank you. Yes, come all. What do we got here from Benjamin Dover? They're using the bathed in shadows look. It looks very single. It looks like every single thing on TV. I think we can agree to disagree a little bit. I will agree that certain levels of TV, like this, does look similar, you know, to the Wednesday TV series, maybe stylistically. But Bathed in Shadows is kind of Tim Burton's deal. I mean, we all love the original Michael Keaton Batman films, and those were shadowy movies, high contrast and very high shadow. And I think that it looks good for the ultimate mood of what Tim Burton's trying to create here. And for Beetlejuice, I'm okay with it. It is a little sterile looking, I will say, but I think that's just an issue with modern cinema cameras. They're so sharp, the sensors are so good that things come out looking sometimes overly clean. And if you're directly comparing that to a movie from the 80s that was shot on film, had a grain. It is going to look a little bit Netflixy, I think, at first. Dark Shadows. Rick Jones says Dark Shadows also had shadows. It's good to see you back, Rick, as well. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think the overall reaction to this trailer has been positive, and I have to say, the second time around, I appreciate it a little bit better. But I don't know. I think that there's still more that needs to come before I can make a definitive I'm excited or I'm not excited. I will say in general, I'm anticipating the movie for the sake of it. You know, it's a Keaton vehicle. He's reprising a role that I loved him in the beginning. Those kinds of things do make it they do make it exciting for me. But I also think it's going to be important that Tim Burton really sticks that landing. You know what I mean? Especially he's making a sequel to one of his most beloved movies. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. But it could work. It really could work. And I'm going to choose to stay optimistic for now, I think. Let's take a look at some of the interesting posters that we got. We got this kind of, I don't want to say it's like the main poster or anything, but we got this one, which I love. I actually, when I saw this, I got more excited for the movie than I think the trailer has made me thus far. Yeah, 80s Keaton was great. I completely agree. In fact, if you guys are 80s, if we got any Keaton fans in here, what's your favorite Keaton movie? I think he made most of his great movies in the 80s, but I think even still, he's got some really good ones. Birdman being the last one that really stopped me in my tracks. Someone caught my reference. Very nice. Yes, thank you, Hip Hop Legend. Yeah, more excited now after the trailer. I think so too. Now, this poster does a lot for me to get me excited as well. I love the little tease here, the little wink at the audience. It says, "You've waited an eternity for this." And yes, we have. And it is exciting. You know, I don't want to say this kind of feels like one of those movies where when it comes out, half of the Beetlejuice purists out there, half of them are going to say this is the sequel that nobody asked for, and that Burton maybe made this as a cash grab to capitalize on one of his bigger properties. But if you ask me, I think that this has to be made out of passion, because it doesn't just have the kind of, I don't know, the wax of studio production over it. It does look like Tim Burton got to make whatever his version of a sequel was to him. And if you guys remember, we actually have a video about this on Joe Blow. So if you guys want to check it out, please do. But we have a video on an unmade Beetlejuice sequel, and multiple pitches for that sequel that would have involved a direct follow-up much sooner than all these years later. And I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. And we had the animated series, which I actually thought was really fun. And then now we're getting this. The poster makes me excited. I love that you can see little hints at what we're in for in terms of the dead and what they're going to be looking like. But we also got some great character posters. Benjamin, I'm glad I just got the joke, Benjamin Dover. That is very funny. And we just talked about Fletch Lives before the show, which has a character who jokingly, that's his name. But yeah, I'm glad that they're bringing Winona back too. I think that was, hopefully an obvious choice. Same thing with Catherine O'Hara. If you're going to make a sequel, a direct sequel, those are characters that we would love to check in with for sure, because they were so good in the original movie. Winona Ryder, I love the kind of renaissance that she had with Stranger Things, but I have to admit, I've been a little bit disappointed by the output since, because Stranger Things, I'm a big fan, a lot of us are, but she could do a lot more than just Stranger Things, and she's been in so many great movies. In fact, one of my favorite movies, if you guys want to check out a great one from the 90s, that's very underrated. It's Jeff Daniels and Winona Ryder. It's called Welcome Home, Roxy Cooper. I think Roxy Carmichael. Well, I must love that movie so much. But it's one of I can't remember her last name in the movie, but it's an interesting movie. She plays like a weird orphan, which is a perfect Winona Ryder role. You guys should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. Cowboy says, hopefully it doesn't turn into a Jenna Ortega movie. Uh, yeah, I mean, the movie's got Jenna Ortega in it, so she might be a main focus. Maybe Beetlejuice will want to marry her now. You know what I mean? That didn't look like it from the trailer, but you never know. Roxy Carmichael, thank you, hip hop legend. You are indeed a legend, Carmichael. I think that was one of the names I said. Hopefully, but yeah, cool movie. I watched it twice last year, and I just really enjoyed it. Very, very nice, kind of atmospheric, feel good movie. Now, as far as the Jenna Ortega movie comment, yeah, hopefully, yeah, hopefully she doesn't usurp the entire story and become, the crux of it. I would like to see Beetlejuice be the center of the story and Winona Ryder's unresolved situation with him. I would like to see that explored, definitely. But I also think Jenna Ortega is a great actress and she could carry a movie on her own. I like that they kind of, introduced her into the Scream franchise, and then in the second movie gave her kind of the starring sister role. So if it does turn into the Jenna Ortega movie or the Jenna Ortega show, I think I can be okay with it. Okay, some clarification. Yeah, it's not a diss. I just focus on the old cat. I agree. Now, if you guys want to know what happened to Jeffrey Jones, who is not in this movie, you can scan the QR code up here in the corner. And we made a whole video about what happened to this freaky bastard. I'm not really going to talk about it on the stream, but he will not be in the movie. And if you watch that video here, it's for pretty obvious reasons. And it's narrated by Taylor, who I know some of you absolutely love. So if you want to hear his smooth and easy to listen to voice talk about what a sick guy Jeffrey Jones is, then you can check out that QR code. Okay. Let's check out some of these character posters. Speaking of Cowboys Point, focusing on the old cast, there's some very interesting, but also very nostalgic looking character posters that came out. And these give me the vibes of almost like early Tim Burton. I mean, we're talking, Pee-wee's Big Adventure days in terms of the aesthetic. These are really nice. They're tastefully done, but I did want to kind of mention they kind of look like they were made from like low resolution screenshots and then sort of overlaid onto a backdrop. I think that that's probably intentional. Again, low tech is sort of a part of Tim Burton's 80s run. I like the posters a lot, but I do think that some of these look a little bit, I don't want to say like cheap, but they look a little bit cheap to me, some of them. And I would love to know what you guys think. If you haven't seen these, I'm going to show a couple of them here, mostly just the returning characters. I do got to say that Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice still looks great. I don't have any complaints in terms of the way that he looks, in terms of the voice. It seems like he was able to completely snap back into it. But the poster kind of showing a full this is the first we're seeing of him in poster form for this movie, and it doesn't look very flattering in terms of a glorious poster. And I think that some of the posters say that about the movie, or not about the movie, but at least about the promo. Stephen O'Donnell or Stephen O'Donnell, is Baldwin returning? I doubt it. Let's look at some of these other character posters, though. I want to get your guys' opinions. There's a nostalgic part of me, and I'm trying not to let that lead the way. But there is a nostalgic part of me that kind of loves these posters because they give me that 1980s aesthetic. But part of me also kind of thinks that it's a low effort character poster, and these are people that we've been wanting to see back. So I don't know. I could take them. I could leave them. I think they're good. I just think the more I look at it, the more I'm talking myself out of the nostalgia of it, which was kind of the only thing getting me by on these. Let's see what we got in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being so active in the chat. I really appreciate that. Brand X Music says, I'm pumped for this. I saw the original when I was in kindergarten. I got in serious trouble at school because I kept repeating, nice effing model, honk honk. You were saying that to people in kindergarten? Brand X Music? You know, I probably would have kicked you out too, but I got to be honest. I bet your parents thought that was funny as hell. If you got kicked out of school for doing that and you're 5, 6 years old, I feel like personally, if I had a kid that did that, I probably would find it hilarious. At least, a little bit. Character poster reminds me of the cartoon. Another comment from Brand X. Yeah, it does. But the thing is, it works better, I think, for like this would work better for the cartoon. I think in live action, it's trying to sell the it's trying to sell the Beetlejuice aesthetic, which is fine. But it doesn't look like a lot of effort went into that. It looks like the only effort that really went into it was just cutting out a picture of Catherine O'Hara here, pasting her on a couple of black rectangles, and calling it a day. It's not terrible. I just think these are characters we wanted to see back in live action. I would have loved to see, like, I don't know, maybe a character poster with all the cast in it, or character posters of them maybe in a scene so we could see what more of the vibe of the movie looks like. I understand not wanting to give too much away before it comes out, but just a little something more for me to gnaw on. All right, Stephen O'Donnell. I only find out Catherine O'Hara is Sally in The Nightmare Before Christmas. How did I not know that? Well, don't feel bad. Many people, I don't even know if I knew that up until maybe just right now. I wouldn't feel bad. I'm not even sure if I knew that, or hearing you say it reminded me and I had forgotten. So definitely don't don't beat yourself up over that one. All right. We've got, man, you guys are being so generous with your comments. Thank you. Shadow of the Statue. Hello, welcome back. Hate that they went with a stripped down version and serious version of Deo. I don't hate that. I get why it might have been more fun to have. I think it would have been fun to use just the audio track from the first movie. But I think having it be a little more slower and with the big hits in it, the Deo, I think that's for one purpose, and that's seeing this trailer for the first time, maybe in front of a movie at the theater, and the nostalgia rushing back to you with a big epic swelling version of it. You get why they do it, and I think in that case it works. I think that if they use that motif throughout the movie, they're going to have to pay it off by giving us another scene where they dance it out. Definitely. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if maybe that song is not featured prominently in the movie. I think it's more of just a thing for the trailer to bait us in. Rick Jones, ugly key art, in my honest opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to call it ugly because I think in terms of just being a simple way to go, here's what the characters look like, it's cool and it matches the vibe of the movie. It's just a little lazy to me. A little bit lazy. All right, let's look at a few more of these character posters if you guys want. I know it's funny as we're talking about how they might be a little lazy and not good looking, and I'm asking if you guys want to see more, but there's one that I really wanted to look at, and that is this one. This one I like because, I mean, the trailer gives us a pretty good look at Willem Dafoe, which, I mean, can you think of a better actor to put in a Beetlejuice movie other than the original cast? I mean, this is really who you want for that, you know? And Willem Dafoe, as usual, looks great. He's got, looks like his skin's peeling off there. He's got some brains coming out. It looks very kind of practical effectsy, and I like that very much. I like that it's not hyper realistic. It's not wet and gross and slimy. I like that it's blue and green. I think that's really nice. Yes, Stephen O'Donnell, Mars Attacks vibes for sure with the brains coming out of the head. And if you guys haven't seen Mars Attacks, that's one of those Tim Burton movies that also I think, slips under the radar because it's not, you can see his style in that movie, very early Tim Burton style, but it's not kind of what you think of when you think of his movies. And that one I think kind of flies under the radar. I enjoy it. Yeah, I'm excited for Defoe. Yeah, I think that I mean, you guys saw him in Poor Things. I mean, is there any debate on whether or not he can do this kind of thing after seeing that movie? I think we're in good hands here. What is this? Yeah, I love Mars Attacks as well. Did you guys see Danny DeVito in the trailer? Is that true, Luciano? If that's true, I definitely did not see Danny DeVito in the trailer. Unless you meant Willem Dafoe. Did you mean Willem Dafoe? Let me know. Anything Defoe is in will automatically get better. Oh yeah, yeah. He's one of those actors. He's a good actor. He's a good character actor. He's got a weirdness to him that we all love. It feels kind of familiar, I guess. Uh, but yeah, it's oh look, yeah, DeVito was in the trailer. I didn't even see him. I love Danny DeVito as well. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a little bit of a Danny DeVito loyalist. So awesome. It's very cool that he's in the trailer. I'm going to go back and watch it after the stream. Yeah, looks good. Overall, guys, I'm excited about the movie, but you know, I want more. I do want to know. I want to know the story. I want to know the scoop. You don't have to spoil anything, but I need to know more before I can say that this is one of my highly anticipated films. But enough about Beetlejuice. I think I've talked it down to what I can with the material we have, and I don't want to bother beating a dead horse with that. Okay, but I do have good news, something that I'm excited for anyway, and this is really one of those things. I'm also going to be relying on your guys' comments to kind of carry this with me, because this is one of those things that it could quickly get one-sided if you just let me gush, and I might gush because we've got some new X-Men news, which I'm very excited about. Anybody who knows me, and if you guys have seen my Marvel Revisited series, I am an X-Men fan, an X-Men, a loyalist. I try to love everything X-Men I can. Now, there are exceptions to that. There's X-Men movies I don't like. There's absolutely pieces of X-Men media in the comics that I'm not thrilled about. But in general, I would consider myself to be an X-Men fan, a giant X-Men fan, a giant-sized X-Men fan. Let me know if you get that reference. I hope you do. I hope you do. Okay. Let's talk here. I'm sorry. Let's go back. Share this article with you guys. So we got some news on the new where is it at? There we go. We got some news on the new MCU X-Men film, and it's curious news for me. Okay, so Michael Leslie has been attached to write the script for MCU X-Men. Now, we've heard in the past kind of a lot of speculation as to what the MCU and Kevin Feige are planning to do with mutants now that they own Fox and they can do whatever they want. I want to believe we're in good hands. Michael Leslie, I had to look him up because I was off the top of my head not familiar with the name. And he is the director of the most recent Hunger Games movie, which I thought was pretty good. I think those movies are all right. But the other thing that he's known for is the Assassin's Creed film, which I only saw the one time. Not a huge fan of that one. But what does it mean that he is attached to write the script? I think it just means that Marvel found somebody that they might be able to butter up a little bit with a nice juicy contract for X-Men material. And they're potentially just hoping that they can trust him to take their notes and make the X-Men movie that they want to make. Let's take a look at some of your guys' comments. I love that we're getting some opinions in here. Oh, well, this first one's just a compliment to me, but love your Marvel Revisited series. Thank you. I love making that series. In fact, that is the series that got me started here at Joe Blow. My very first video for Joe Blow was revisiting Blade, 1998 Blade, which, spoiler alert, is a movie that I fucking love. One of my favorite, definitely my favorite Wesley Snipes movie, one of my favorite superhero movies, one of my favorite vampire movies also. We've got As Last, X2 is the best X-Men movie. It's one of my favorites. That's one of those movies that I was actually, just depending on how I see it and when I see it, it could be my favorite. It could be, top five. It just kind of depends. Yes, let's talk X-Men. Yeah, I'm here for it, brother. We're going to talk all about it. As last, I love this comment right here. X-Men Evolution is the best X-Men cartoon. Well, the Apocalypse parts. I was watching X-Men Evolution, I should say rewatching X-Men Evolution just last night. That is, and this is coming from a 90s X-Men fan. X-Men Evolution is my favorite X-Men media. Like cartoons, movies, even most of the comics. I think X-Men Evolution just as a package, it has everything you want from that world. It takes a lot of cues from the X-Men 90s series, which I'm also a fan of, but it also takes a lot of newer things from newer at the time X-Men runs in the comics that I thought were also great changes and important things. So yeah, X-Men Evolution, definitely one of those cartoons that I think lives on and stands the test of time. We got my man John Fallon. What's up, Johnny? X-Men 2 is the best one. Yeah. I mean, if you look at what X-Men 2 was, it was a follow-up to what I would consider to be kind of the dawn of that Fox era. I mean, it was the dawn of the Fox era, I mean, everything that came after that, there was questions of quality and motivation behind making these things. But the first X-Men movie was in earnest an attempt to make a live action X-Men that worked. Now that was before the days, like nowadays we're looking for that comic book accuracy. We do prefer the yellow spandex, by the way, we all do. We want a bright red Daredevil costume. We want Captain America's, shield to be nice and vibrant. But in the year 2000, when that movie was coming out, things like The Matrix, that's what was in, was the kind of dark, not noir, but black leather aesthetic for super characters, And I think it works for those movies. I think especially for the first movie, the suits work just fine. They put a little joke in there for the fans. It paid off in X-Men 97. If you guys haven't seen that, we should talk about that. Maybe later in the stream we'll talk about that. But then X2 comes out and it plays up the soap opera-ness of the X-Men that I love. I love the kind of interpersonal relationships of all these mutants in the school. I like that shit. And for the X-Men with these characters, I love that shit. And this movie did that, but it also gave us way more action. And it gave us everybody's favorite, my favorite, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. That is why X-Men 2, you know what? In this moment, I'm going to say Fallon, everybody else, you guys are right. In this moment, X2 is the best because it had Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, and we'll never not have that. You know what I mean? We'll never not have that. We need Cyclops to lead in the new movie is my biggest problem with the originals. I'm going to challenge you there. I think we do need to get away from Wolverine being the lead, although I think Wolverine is, he's a quintessential X-Men. And for most people, a huge draw into the theater seat. And that's kind of the big thing. But I really think that a Cyclops-centered X-Men, not the best choice. And I think the reason that I think that is because Cyclops did get his due in X-Men 97. I can't take that away from him either. He finally got to be cool somewhere other than the comic books. But in general, Cyclops works great as the leader of the X-Men, but maybe not as our straight man into the X-Men. Because truthfully, I don't know if I'd want to follow Cyclops at the heart of an X-Men movie. I like that I would love if he would be one of our leading characters in an ensemble. But as far as our perspective, kind of the X-Men from Cyclops' perspective, or at least with him at the heart of it, doesn't work for me. I think it would be cool to do maybe a new recruit to the X-Men, like how they did with episode 1 of X-Men 97 with Sunspot, or episode 1 of the original 90s animated series with Jubilee. I think that would be cool. Give us an X-Men movie where Jubilee is starting out at the X-Mansion, at the School for Gifted Youngsters. And then Cyclops and, Wolverine and all these characters that we love can be huge pieces of the story that kind of mentor our new X-Men. But we need a vehicle for us to kind of get into this world, especially because it's going to be the first MCU X-Men outing. Undoubtedly, it's going to be littered with connections to the greater MCU, whatever that looks like when the movie comes out. So I don't know if Cyclops is the one. Ooh, this is not a hot take, but it is a take. I love X2, but I prefer Days of Future Past. I love both of those movies. I think Days of Future Past was a great adaptation of a very, very long, not long, very complicated story. I think X2 edges it out just this in the slightest. But I do want to say Days of Future Past, the Rogue cut, I had that recommended to me, and I don't know. I don't really know why. It was cool, but it was just more rogue scenes, and it didn't do much for me. Let's see. We've got Rick Jones. Never heard of the Green Rider. By green, do you mean inexperienced, like Michael Leslie's Green? Because if so, I think that what this means is that we could get ultimately. I mean, either way, we're getting fresh X-Men. But I think having a writer that has made two movies that, for better or worse, were, they were bigger movies. They were working with bigger budgets and they were spectacle films. I think if he's writing the script, hopefully he'll write some action scenes that are going to be big and expensive and well done by that time. I'm praying that Marvel gets their shit together by that time and gives us what we want. So we'll see. Aslas says X-Men. Oh, this is a hot one. X-Men in the MCU makes no sense. X-Men are hated by all men, whereas the MCU heroes, even Hulk, are loved by mankind. Okay, so when you say by all men, you mean X-Men are hated like by people at large. X-Men are hated by mankind. I think that's why maybe the MCU could do with X-Men, because there is a bit of a difference between, let's say, somebody like, I mean, the Hulk has mutated himself, or the gamma radiation has mutated him. The Avengers are seen positively in the MCU, and I guess I do get the argument that the X-Men probably would too if that's the established setup. But I'm pretty sure that the X-Men movie, the MC, whatever that turns out to be, it could be the mutants, it could be X-Men. I'm pretty sure that'll be after Secret Wars, the multiverse saga conclusion. And once that's over, it's going to reset the MCU. And I think by that time, we'll be ready for a fresh new universe. And maybe they'll start with the X-Men, where these kinds of heroes, these kinds of superpowered people are not known or accepted by mankind just yet. So we have to think about that too. Marvel can't, they're not just going to plop the X-Men, into the next Avengers movie and expect it to work. They're going to set up the world to fit around that story. And I think that they're going to reboot it after Secret Wars anyway. And that's kind of the perfect opportunity. First Class was also awesome. Fallon, you could not be more correct about that. I just did a video, if you guys want to check it out, on the Joe Blow Originals channel. I just reviewed X-Men First Class. I went back and revisited it. And man, I know some of you commented that you didn't like the movie or the casting, which is crazy because that was one of the things I praised the most. I think X-Men First Class was an A1 X-Men movie. It wasn't the X-Men as we know them because it was before the X-Men as we know them. And it gave us the goods, I think. Yeah, Days of Future Past is your favorite. That's from Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah, that's a popular favorite, and for good reason. That movie rules. Let's talk about, what are you guys' least favorite X-Men movies? Maybe let me chew on some of those. We have Aslas. Ryan Reynolds created Deadpool in Blade Trinity. Yeah, Hannibal King in Blade Trinity, who's the character that Ryan Reynolds played, was very Deadpool in that movie. He was more Deadpool in that movie than he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. We're not going to talk about that movie. I've already said too much because I hate it. You guys have some great takes. I love this. Good question here. We've got, is Anna Paquin the youngest ever Oscar winner, female at least? I believe that she is. I believe she is the youngest still, which is great. I mean, she's not younger now than, people that have won Oscars, but I think she still has the record of winning it at the youngest age. I like this too. Deadpool 3 equals X-Men Origins Wolverine 2. You know what? Let's hope. Let's hope it's 2 as in 2.0, as in we're doing it fucking right this time. That's what we have to hope for. You know? Speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, let's get into that too, because I do want to talk a little bit about box office predictions here. Now, you guys tell me what you think of this, okay? Because to me, this is just kind of par for the course for Deadpool, meaning, you know, we expect, I mean, the first Deadpool movie broke box office records immediately. The second one, as well, I mean, it climbed into the top 5 highest grossing movies ever theatrically. And then we have this third one. The tickets went on sale, and AMC is reaching record highs on pre-sale for the tickets. I'm not at all surprised by this, and I don't think many of you are either. But why this is interesting is because this is a big win for Disney now. The Deadpool movies were big by themselves at Fox, okay? They were kind of the big fish in the small pond over there, especially in their sea of superhero movies, which had, you know, diminishing returns the entire time. In this case, though, this is a big win. This is Disney behind this franchise getting this kind of wind back into the MCU. I don't know if that really counts. Okay, so kind of this is what I want your guys' opinion on. Does this count as a win for Disney? Because to me, this movie might have done this regardless of who was behind it. And I know that this movie is going to be huge for reviving what's left of the Marvel, you know, machine in terms of their reputation and people going to see their movies theatrically. But it feels like this might be one of those one-off things. Like, I don't think that this movie coming out, if it's good, granted, if it's good, that will help tremendously for Marvel. But I don't think that it's one of those movies that's going to do well. I think that Disney is not doing it any favors in terms of it being an MCU film. I think that almost would hurt it. In this case, maybe not, but I think if it were any other movie, being in the MCU at this point would be a detriment to its box office, just because people have not been fans of what's been coming out of the Marvel machine. And that includes me. So, like, Reynolds was surprised when Disney allowed Deadpool and Wolverine to be R-rated. That's part of why the movie is going to do well as well. It's a crowd pleaser. People want Deadpool to be R-rated. They want Deadpool to be violent and bloody and risky and edgy. And to be honest, it's good that we have that, but I don't know why Ryan Reynolds would be surprised. Disney wants people to like this movie because this is Marvel Jesus. This is why people are going to come back to the MCU. And I don't know. I just think I think it's great that this movie's reaching these record-breaking performances already. But I also am curious about, is it gonna meet the billion? I don't know how much you guys pay attention to box office, and I don't think it matters that much in terms of, like, I don't think it says anything about the quality of a movie, but I think that it says a lot about audience excitement. It kind of says everything, and I don't know. This movie might do the billion. And if it does, I guess it won't be that big of a surprise. They'll say Ryan Reynolds is surprised by it, but I doubt it. If it does, though, that'll be a big win. And I guess by proxy, that'll be a big win for Disney, although I don't think that they are the reason why this movie will make $1 billion, you know? Yeah. You guys have some good comments here. It looks like most of you feel the same way about the MCU as a lot of fans right now, which is totally understandable. A lot of us are feeling that the quality is suffering because of the amount of the output, and that they're not prioritizing the things that audiences really want. They're just kind of prioritizing the things that they have, you know, that they've promised. Ryan Reynolds is a box office poison outside of the Fox and MCU, right? Tell me if this is a hot take as last, but I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds' acting outside of Deadpool. I mean, I thought Free Guy was pretty funny. I thought it was okay. But I watched it once and I never had the urge to go back and watch it again. So what does that really say, you know? And yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds works, he works as the Deadpool figure, but the thing is, he's kind of made himself Deadpool, and like, as in, like, every time you see him in a movie, he's kind of Deadpool. He's kind of breaking the fourth wall. He's kind of rolling his eyes. And this is not a new opinion. There's whole video essays around the internet about that. But yeah, I don't know. I think Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is great. In fact, he would remain he's one of those characters I would say is Deadpool. He is that character, but I don't know. Now we're going to be going a little bit past the hour, you guys, and that's going to be because we had a random technical issue and it looks like we're all having fun. So we're going to keep it going for a little while. Hopefully you guys are not too tired or too busy and you want to stick around. But let's move on a little bit from X-Men stuff. We talked about Beetlejuice already. That was a big thing. Oh, actually, it'd be fun. Let's talk about Furiosa, and then I'll give you guys a little bit of a heads up before the giveaway comes in, because I don't want you guys to miss that. Hopefully everybody that wanted to get in on the giveaway is back now and is here. Okay, let's talk about this. The early reviews are in for Furiosa for a Mad Max saga. Listen, we got a lot of Mad Max fans hanging out around the Joe Blow channel. So I'm gonna hit you guys with this in full transparency, okay? I got into Mad Max, came into my life late, okay, as in like 2015, okay, when I got into Mad Max. And by the way, if you want to check out our review of Furiosa, you can scan this QR code. I'll leave that up for a while I rant. So I got into Mad Max late. I saw the trailer for Mad Max Fury Road, and the trailer blew me away so much that I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in. I'm going to watch the series so I can prepare for Fury Road. And I did that. And those movies are insane. They are actually insane movies. And I like them a lot. But I think that when I saw Fury Road, after having just freshly watched the Mad Max saga, Fury Road just became my favorite one of them. And I didn't know if it was because of the visuals. I think it was. But I think that in general, George Miller found a way to make a movie as good as all of the movies in the series that he birthed without having to bring Mel Gibson back in a legacy role, or without having to bait us with nostalgia. He was able to just go, this is a new thing from Mad Max. Here it is. And it was awesome. Then we find out that Charlize Theron's character in that movie, Furiosa, amazing character, was getting a prequel movie. And that was forever ago. And it finally happened. It's out now. You can go watch it. And the early reviews are saying that the movie is good. No surprise there. Hopefully we can get some fireworks in here. Yeah, there we go. Supposedly this movie's awesome. Now, I might be seeing it this weekend. I have not seen it yet, but the early reviews look good. We reviewed it well. Our man Chris Bumbray got to see the movie a little early and review it for us, and he really liked it. And a lot of my friends around the movie sphere also really liked it. I want to know how you guys feel, because truthfully, this seems like one of those crowd pleasers that also manages to do something new. And I don't think we get a lot of those now, especially when it's a sequel or a prequel, even, especially. I don't think we see a lot of that level of quality. And I hope that it's not just the hype train kind of telling us that this is the best movie ever because it came out this weekend, and the next weekend there'll be a different best movie ever. I hope it's not that. The overwhelmingly positive reviews sometimes do make you think that might be what it is. But wait a minute, Aslast. Wait a minute, buddy. The only Charlize Theron movie I love is The Italian Job. Not seen American Graffiti. Have you not seen Charlize Theron in That Thing You Do? Does that count? It's a small role in that movie, but that's one of the best movies. That's one of the best movies in the 90s, and she was in it. So she wins just for that. Stephen O'Donnell, Fury Road with the headset on full blast is an experience. Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I watched it once. I didn't watch the whole thing to be honest, but I had it on an airplane. I fell asleep, 25 minutes into it. But that movie does sound good in the headphones. It's also one of those movies that just visually it's so good you could just kind of have it on in the background, and even if you're not watching it, anytime you look up at the screen you're seeing something stimulating, and I really appreciate it for that reason. Children of the Corn 3, was she in that? That's hilarious. Ooh, we got a Cartoon Man, great name. Furiosa is my favorite character in Fury Road. Mine too, definitely. In fact, I've heard some people, and this is not a spoiler for the movie. Again, I have not seen it either, and I avoid spoilers at all costs. I have heard though that this movie will make you appreciate her in Fury Road even more. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to hear, especially about prequels, but any sequel or spinoff, you want to hear that as opposed to the opposite. You get me? You don't want to hear somebody go, I watched it, but now I kind of think this part of the original piece is dumb, or it affected how I'm going to view that the next time. It doesn't happen to me very often in a negative way, but there are some times when I'll come across something that slightly feels like a retcon to something that I found to be, awesome. Like, for example, X-Men, a lot of continuity in that mess of a franchise has kind of retconned certain things from previous movies that I thought was maybe handled better than after it was retconned, and those things do happen. But supposedly this and Anya Taylor-Joy's performance will make you appreciate Furiosa much more, even upon going back and rewatching Fury Road. So that's good news. As Last has another take. If Prometheus was a standalone movie, not in the Alien verse, it'd be a great movie. Brother, listen to me, okay? Ridley Scott's Alien movie. That's a perfect movie to me. I also did a video on that. I wish I had a QR code you guys could scan. I worked really hard. I did a deconstruct on the original Alien film, and that movie is amazing. I love it. I will watch it anytime. It's the perfect movie for a Sunday afternoon. It's the perfect movie for a Friday night. It's the perfect movie to show somebody for the first time that hasn't seen it. It's great. I struggle with a lot of the sequels just in the sense that even with the expansion on the lore, like I think Prometheus is, I think it's a movie that it was a crowd pleasing movie. People liked it, so I don't have anything against it for that. But like being in the Alien franchise, it had almost no effect on Alien or the Alien lore. So I'm not mad at Prometheus. If it was completely separate from the franchise, I don't even think it would make that big of a difference because the movie doesn't feel very connected anyway. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I guess I agree and disagree with you. How about do a prequel for Alien Covenant? How about a prequel for Alien Covenant? I mean, I think we should focus on what we have right in front of us, which is Fede Alvarez doing Alien Romulus. That is going to be legit. Did you guys see that trailer? That's a great trailer. That's definitely one that I would recommend. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. While we're sitting here talking about Furiosa and going through comments, I'm just going to play this so that way there's something for you guys to watch. If you haven't seen the Furiosa trailer, there it is. Now, I also heard this might be a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. So if you're planning on watching Furiosa and you don't want to know anything about it, I did hear that a lot of the movie is spent with young Furiosa, as in an actress younger than Anya Taylor-Joy playing Furiosa. I'm cool with it. I love Anya Taylor-Joy, but I also trust George Miller, so I think that he probably did the right thing there. What? Cartoon Man? I never seen Prometheus, but I heard it's bad. It just depends on who you are. Like personally, I didn't like that movie that much, but it had nothing to do with it being an alien movie. It just to me just wasn't. It just didn't have the. I just didn't like it that much. Romulus is going to be great, though. You are right about that, Luciano. Yeah, I mean, it has to be good. It has to be good. Wow. Aslas thinks Predator 2 is the most underrated movie of all time. Is that movie really that underrated? I don't know if that movie's really underrated, you know? It might be like not talked about as much as the first one. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I in my circle of friends and movie lovers, that movie is I would say properly rated. A lot of people in my circle find enjoyment out of watching Predator 2. Alien versus Predator ruined your respect for Prometheus. Oof. Oof. I watched that one for research for my alien deconstructing video, and I think that story was better served in comic book form, and you don't need to go into the live action space with that kind of stuff. But I think crossover movies are kind of inherently dumb sometimes, just like not crossover within universe, but like crossover like of franchises. Does that really ever work out? I mean, like not great. I can't think of an example. Maybe like I don't even Space Jam is not a great example. That movie's kind of terrible. Let's see. Covenant was so bad it stole my wife and fired me from my job. Fallon loves it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't have that kind of beef with any of the Alien films. None of them stole my wife or fired me from my job, thankfully. Uh, but I don't think the movie was that bad. Or was it? Okay. You know what, guys? Let's since we got the Furiosa screen up, had the Furiosa screen up. Let's go ahead and get into today's giveaway because I cannot wait to tell you guys what we're giving away. Let's drag it over here. Okay, we're going to be giving away a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of Mad Max Fury Road. This movie looks incredible no matter how you watch it. You could watch it on your shitty iPod Touch that you had in high school, and the movie would probably still look pretty good. Okay, I think it's one of the most visually stunning films of all time. But in 4K with UHD, which is what is that? Is uh, or HDR, high dynamic range, ultra HD 4K. I mean, like this is the best this movie's ever going to look or sound. And you guys need this. I hope. I need you to have it. I need you to need it. Is what I need. So we're going to be giving away one copy of Mad Max Fury Road on 4K. And all you have to do, if you want to win it, I'm going to give you a chance to win it right now. All you got to do is answer this one question. What was George Miller's job while he was raising money to fund the original 1979 Mad Max film? The very first person to answer correctly in the chat, I will pin your comment and you are the winner. So let's get those answers rolling in. What was his job before before his job was directing the Mad Max movies? What was his job? How did he raise money for that first film? I can feel some of you dropping off of the stream and Googling it. And that's okay, because whoever gets it whoever's the fastest, he who Googles the fastest, gets the movie. All right, Aslas, congrats, my man. Aslas was the first person to get it right. He was a doctor. George Miller was a doctor. Hip hop legend right behind him, ER Doc. Yep, Aslas. Yep. Benjamin Dover, he was the guy who put those stickers on bananas. So Aslas, here's how you gotta go about this if you want to get your prize, which I know you do. Go ahead and send me an email. My email address is Kier Gomes. That's KIERGOMES. I'll put up my nameplate so you can see my name. All right. So it's my first and last name, KierGomes.movies@gmail.com. kiergomes.movies@gmail.com. Go ahead and reach out to me via email. I will get back to you. I will get your details, and we're going to ship this movie out to you as soon as we can. Okay? Now, listen, guys. This is a good giveaway. This is a good thing to own. If you don't own this movie on 4K, it's good stuff. At least in my opinion, it is. But we want to do more giveaways in the future. So if you guys are interested in this kind of thing, maybe we'll do more elaborate ones. Maybe we'll give away merch in future live streams, which I think would be really cool. And speaking of merch, if you guys like the Joe Blow logo tee that I'm wearing, it's super soft and lovely. And I spilled chocolate on it earlier, but it's still crispy white. So you can check out your merch here. I would highly recommend it. I like wearing shirts with movie references and movie quotes on them, but I like the quotes to be a little more tongue in cheek, a little more if you know, you know. And that's kind of our vibe over there. So check out our merch if you're interested. I hope you are, because it's good stuff. And with all of that being said, you guys, that's pretty much going to conclude our stream. But I appreciate the passion that you guys had for everything you said in the comments. I especially loved the X-Men talk. So for my X-Men fans, keep the comments going. In fact, go back and watch the stream again. Comment all your X-Men hot takes, and then maybe next live stream we can get into those. You know what I mean? All right. Well, hey, congratulations to As Last for winning today's giveaway. Really appreciate you showing up on the stream. I also so much appreciate the comments, you guys. They really help carry these streams. It can be hard to talk for an hour straight, but it's nice to get distracted by the hilarious or brilliant things that you guys say, or in some cases, confusing things that you guys say. But I enjoy that as well for different reasons. If you guys are interested in seeing more of us, next Friday, we'll be doing a live show over on the Joe Blow Horror Originals channel with your host, Tyler Nichols. Good friend of mine. He runs a good show, a very entertaining show. His last two have been extremely fun to watch. I was able to catch the first one live, and then the second one I was on vacation, but went back and watched it later, and it was so good. So if you guys are interested in what you saw here and you want more of that, but it may be a different flavor, you can go check out Joe Blow Horror Originals next Friday for their stream. But make sure you check back into this live show 2 Fridays from now. So not next Friday, but the Friday after that. We have some stuff that we're going to be discussing on that stream, and I really don't want you guys to miss it. I think also by that time we'll have even more juicy updates on some of the stuff we talked about in this stream, so we can create a little bit of a continuity. Know what I mean? Again, yeah, wow, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Still commenting later. Good stream. Oh, thank you, John. I think you're the man. All right, guys. Much love to all of you. This was so much fun. I'm sweating. I'm gonna go take a shower and get out of here, and probably go see Furiosa.